Today we're going to be learning about powers and roots. So, we've already met the very basic roots. So imagine we have 5 times 5. That's 5 squared. The squared is we're raising 5 to the power of 2. You could have 5 times 5 times 5. That'd be 5 to the power 3, or cubed. So that's cubed, 5 squared, and we know 5 squared is 25, and 5 cubed is 125. Now the opposite of doing 5 squared is square root. So if we have the square root of 25, that's 5. And the opposite of cubing is you take the cube root. So you would put a little 3 here to indicate the cube root. The cube root of 125 is 5. That should all be revision. Now let's think, if we were to take minus 5 multiplied by minus 5, we would get 25. So if we think of the square root of 25 is equal to 5, that can be either a plus 5 or a minus 5. We don't actually know. So if you were doing an example where you had to take the square root of a number, you would have to indicate it could be a positive number or a negative number. There's no way of knowing. Now it's really good to be able to know a few of the most common square numbers. So obviously there's 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared, as we've just been talking about, is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 10 squared is 100. Some of the less common ones, 11 squared is 121, 12 squared is 144, 13 squared is 169, 14 squared is 196, and 15 squared is 225. Now these squared numbers are really useful when you are coming to look at things like sequences and you're looking for different patterns. Square numbers often crop up, so if you can quickly identify 64 as a square number or 144 is a squared number, it's one of these little tricks that can really help you in your maths. And some of the cube roots that are useful to know, obviously 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, 5 cubed is 125, and 10 cubed is 1000. And for the same reason, these are useful to be able to quickly identify because they prop up all over the place when you're doing problems, when you're doing area problems, when you're looking at different patterns. So they're useful to be able just to identify these really common square numbers and cube numbers. Now, For questions like 5 cubed, you need to get to know your calculator. You'd maybe find a little button on your calculator that looks something like this. This will help you find any number raised to the power of something else. You need to get to know what that looks like for your own particular calculator. Some calculators will vary slightly. So when you find it, you would just put your numbers in and you would get 5 cubed as, we've just done 125. And the same goes for doing a cube root. So similar, find a cube root, or the root of any number to a certain power. You'll have a button that looks like this. And the mechanics of how to do this will vary slightly from different makes of calculator, and that will be something. Just play around with your calculator, look at your manual, look at YouTube videos for your particular type of calculator if you're stuck, so that you know how to work out these kind of sums. Now, we've looked at the kind of things that you would have been doing a lot in the lower stages of schooling. We're now going to look at higher powers. So imagine you have 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. This means 6 to the power 4. You've got 4 6's multiplied together, 6 to the power 4. And if you sort that into your calculator, it will be 1296. Similarly, if you were to find the 5th root of 32, that is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 to the power 5, is 32. Now sometimes this can also be written as, this here can be written as 32 to the power 1/5, which equals 2. We'll work through some more of these exam type questions. So 7 cubed, 7 times 7 times 7, or you would put 7 to the power 3 into your calculator and you get 343. Now let's think of 81 to the power of a quarter. What does this mean again? Well, this is the same as the root of 82 to the power 4, and that would be 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 3 to the power 4 is 81. And if we had 125 to the 3rd, again you'd put into your calculator, you'd find the button where it's the root of 125 to the power 3, cube root, and you would find the answer would be 5, because 5 to the power 3 is 125. So that is a very quick introduction to indices and the roots of them.